Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of 10 Minutes with Kuhle. South Africa, the land of sunshine, rolling hills, and strategic leverage. Yes, according to South Africa's very own and number one idiot, Ebrahim Rasool, South Africa's former ambassador to the United States. It's time for Pretoria to flex its muscle and use its leverage on the US. I mean, come on. Nothing says superpower quite like Eskom's load shedding, stage 6, 33% youth unemployment, and public hospitals where the only thing more scarce than medicine is running water. But hey, apparently South Africa has leverage. Let's break this down like rational adults, or at least like Americans with working electricity. President Donald Trump, back in charge, just dropped a 10% universal tariff on all imports and an extra 30% on South Africa. Why, you ask? Because America's tired of being everyone's ATM. Can't blame them. He said it himself. We are paying them billions of dollars. A lot of bad things are happening in South Africa. They don't want to report it. Well, we're reporting it. Here's what the media won't tell you. White South African farmers, mostly Afrikaners, have been victims of brutal farm attacks for years. But the ANC and their buddies in global media, crickets. Let's talk numbers. Between 1994 and 2024, over 4,000 white farmers have been murdered in South Africa. That's not just random crime. These aren't botched burglaries. These are coordinated, brutal, and symbolic attacks on minority community. And don't you dare call it what it is. You'll be labeled a conspiracy theorist. Meanwhile, Julius Malema is out there chanting, "Kill the Boer," at stadium rallies while sipping champagne in Sandton. Here's a stat for you. Strategic leverage. Rasool, while South Africans make up just 7 to 8% of the population, and Afrikaners even less. Yet in rural farming areas, they account for up to 80% of farm ownership, feeding the very country that scapegoats them. So yes, if some Afrikaners get the chance to leave and apply for refugee status in the US, good for them. Trump opened the gates, and 59 brave Afrikaner families, young kids, elderly parents, farmers, workers, took a private flight to freedom. And what does Ramaphosa call it? A cowardly act. Now, Mr. President, a cowardly act is allowing lawless mobs to murder farmers while you pose for photo ops with EFF leaders. A cowardly act is watching your country's food producers bleed and calling it redress. These Afrikaners were called refugees by Trump, and rightfully so. They are fleeing racial hatred, economic dispossession, and ANC negligence. Now back to Mr. Rasool's leverage. He says 600 US companies operate in South Africa. That's our leverage. Well, let's do some math. Those companies are there basically because they chose to be, not because South Africa is doing them a favor. Coca-Cola, Ford, Microsoft, they bring jobs, pay taxes, and create infrastructure. Pull the plug, and the only thing left standing will be load shedding schedules and potholes. And then there's the line. South African companies employ Americans. Which 20 South African companies are those exactly? Nando's? Woolworths? Are we really supposed to believe America's economy depends on Mrs. Ball's chutney and discounted Springbok jerseys? Now, yet again, Rasool says maybe the 59 Afrikaners and the more to go shouldn't be allowed to have South African citizenship anymore. Because what? They committed the crime of not wanting to be killed in their own country. Newsflash, Afrikaners didn't defame South Africa. They told the world the truth. If anything, it's the ANC that defames South Africa by failing its people, black, white, and every color in between. Besides South African citizenship, It isn't a privilege handed out like candy. It's an international norm unless you're planning to copy North Korea. It's time to let that go. The United States doesn't owe South Africa anything. We give aid, we invest, and we take in persecuted minorities because that's what freedom-loving nations do. That's probably what the US is thinking. So when South Africa tries to tell them how to run their trade, dictate immigration policies, or lecture them on leverage, they smile and keep walking. Because here's the truth. If anyone has leverage, it's the US. The dollar, the military, the economy, the innovation, it's all made in America. You want to play diplomacy with a superpower? First, fix your own backyard. Start with your police stations, your power grid, and your food security. And stop vilifying Afrikaners for survival. To the US, Canada, Australia, and the free world, open your doors. Give sanctuary to persecuted minorities in South Africa. Afrikaners, Indians, South Africans, Coloureds, and the African majority that stand with. Anyone who's tired of living under a regime that sees competence as privilege and merit as oppression. And to the Afrikaners who made it to America, I would like to wish you well. We know, you have been through hell. You want to be silenced. You won't be silenced here, rather. As well as no one is going to chant about killing farmers in the US. And you'll most likely be thanked for feeding the nation with your farming skills. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you'll know, we need to keep such shows running, such platforms that share the truth. And such platforms that share the truth don't only run on me publicizing such videos daily. They require you by subscribing. So please click on the subscription bell below. Click on the notification bell to be updated on daily videos, as well as sign up to be a member. It really helps. Any form of donation helps to keep the lights on, helps to keep this going. As well as this has been a dose of reality, facts, not fiction. Share this message. Let the world know what's happening here, because silence kills and the truth liberates. God bless the farmers, and God bless you, independent, free-thinking, capitalist, united South Africans. Not black, not white, but South Africans. God bless you. Good night, and see you tomorrow.